Hey everyone, welcome back to KDX Bricks Analytics, where I watch all of the other Lego investing and reselling videos so that you don't have to. And I just finished collecting and analyzing the September and October data that shows the most popular and talked about sets retiring at the end of this year for Lego investing. It's a long list, so we are jumping right into it. The first set on the table is the Mos Eisley Cantina set 75290, 19 mentions in the last couple of months with an enthusiasm score of 2.6. I've got the Brickset website up for this set, and on your screen you can see that it has a long 4+ year shelf life, but a really awesome 4.5 enthusiasm score. $400, 3187 pieces, not a great price to part ratio, but when you throw in the 21 minifigures, 9 of which are exclusive to this set, the price looks decent overall. Before I go any further, if you are new to my channel, I watch as many of the good Lego investing and reselling YouTube videos that I can find, and in each video, every time the presenter mentions a Lego set for investing, I record it on my table as I mention, and for each mention, I give it an enthusiasm score of 1, 2, or 3. A 3 means the presenter thinks it's going to be a home run, a 2 means the presenter thinks it is going to be an average investment, and a 1 means the presenter is interested in it but has some hesitation or some questions. And also I record every time the presenter mentions a set they are avoiding for investing, and I cover that in my not top sets video, which should be coming up next. In the last couple of months, I watched 97 videos across 17 channels with over 1,000 unique Lego set mentions. On this table, there are 219 rows, which means that 219 sets got at least one positive mention over the last couple of months. Obviously, that's a ton, so I'll be moving through a lot of them very quickly. But back to our first set, it is one that I love. I did not pick up any for investing because I just didn't want to go for a set this expensive, but I do personally think that it will go up a lot in value. It's a lot to store and a lot to manage when it comes to shipping and fees and all of that kind of stuff. But I do want to point out this set has been out of stock everywhere for at least a month, and I have not seen it come back in stock. And so if we look at eBay, it's already going for over retail price. Here's one that is $500 including shipping. This one is about $525 including shipping, $570 with shipping. So let's assume after shipping we're talking about $450 minus 15% eBay fees. Take home is about $385. So obviously if somebody paid retail for it, they are losing money on it, but it was available during May the 4th promo. I forget if it was on sale or if it had 4x insider points and some good gifts with purchase. So if the sets that are being sold now were picked up during that May the 4th promo weekend, then these sellers are already in the money a little bit, and I would expect this set to continue to climb in price over the coming months and definitely over the coming years. Second up is a Lamborghini Countach set 76908, 13 mentions and a top enthusiasm score of 3.0. Speed Champions are generally evergreen sets. They typically do a steady return of doubling in value after a 1.5 to 2.5 years. Like all Speed Champions, this set is regularly 20% off. I do like it. I don't have many yet because I'm waiting to see if it goes to $10 or $12 like a few Speed Champions did last year at Target and Walmart. And even though this looks like it would be a fantastic set, and that Lego came out with the larger Icons Countach, I think for $170, which is good because then you can pair them up, and with this one retiring and the new one on the shelves, people are going to see the price of the new one and say, hey, let me go back and get the smaller, older one for much cheaper. So I think there's a lot of potential and runway with this set, but I do have concerns about over hoarding on the secondary market. One of my Walmarts had an end cap with all 4 shelves just packed full of these. I think there were over 100 boxes of this set on that end cap. Third on the table, also 13 mentions, but an E-score of 2.4 is the Commander Cody helmet. Retails for $70. The standard theme on helmets is they must be picked up at a really good discount or it's going to be very difficult to get a decent ROI. Just over a 1.5 year shelf life is pretty good. I like that there's some color in this helmet. Commander Cody is obviously a very popular character, so I think there's a lot of good with this set, especially included in the lineup of all of the helmets. And rumors are we're getting a few more helmets, which would be awesome. But I do caution on this set because Target had it for $39.50. That might have been my price after tax a few months ago. And I did pick up, I think, 20 at that price, and I'm not going to get any more. And so if anybody does pick these up at the standard 20% off, which is $56, they're starting from way behind. And even if you get into the 30% off at $48, still starting pretty far behind. If I saw it for 42 or 45, I could see picking up a few more, but I wouldn't be that excited about it. And then fourth on the table is is the other helmet that is retired at the end of this year, the Princess Leia Bouche, 12 mentions, an E-score of 2.9, so just a tick short of a top 3.0. It is a Target exclusive, that's why I have Target in parentheses. And also let me point out that the R in parentheses in front of the set number and name means that according to Brick Fanatics, it is expected to retire at the end of this year. I absolutely love this helmet. I have never seen it on sale. However, I did see recently that Target established a new lower retail price of $56, which means that if this one goes on 20% off, then it will be around $45. And at that price, I would be excited about it. But so far, I have not picked any of these up because, again, I haven't seen it on sale, and the $56 new price is not good enough for me. Last year's Target exclusive helmet, which was the Dark Trooper, did go on sale for at least $48, and it might have been $42 or maybe $45 at one point. Seeing that Target established a new standard price, I am expecting this one to get to very similar pricing as Dark Trooper helmet. And if we look at Dark Trooper helmet on eBay, it is doing 100 shipped. Here's 185 shipped. Here's close to 100 shipped. So let's assume $80 after we subtract shipping minus the 15% fees brings us to $68 take home. If the buy-in was $48, then that's $20 a unit only a year after retirement. Not too bad. On Amazon, pretty similar story because it is between $93 and $102. Fees are a little higher on Amazon, so the take home is going to be pretty similar. No, by the way, I just got the email like 2 minutes before hitting record on this video from Amazon saying that I no longer can sell Lego on Amazon. So I am now in the gated status. Maybe that will change in the future. I don't really know. I don't really care. I did a little bit of selling on Amazon, and I know that it is a lot more efficient and you can do a lot more bulk selling, but honestly, I didn't enjoy it. I felt like it was very cumbersome and hard to track what was going in and out in terms of sales and what they had received. I've only sent 4 boxes to Amazon, 2 separate orders. First box went in fine, and then the second shipment was split into 2 locations, and the sets in one of those boxes never ended up actually getting into my inventory. And I checked, and according to Amazon's website and UPS, the box was delivered. So I had to ask Amazon to investigate and provide some information. It wasn't too bad. I'd heard horror stories that you had to provide receipts of when you purchased every single item, which was going to be pretty rough because a few of them, especially the better ones, were items that I had bought like 4 or 5 years ago, and I still didn't have the receipts. I was just cleaning up and getting rid of some onesie twosies. And so it was going to be hard for me to produce all of that if Amazon asked. They didn't. They just asked for proof of delivery and a little bit of back and forth. And then a few days later, they ended up paying me out for that lost box. So it all worked out, but it was kind of annoying and, again, pretty cumbersome. I like knowing that a set is sold and being able to track the one for one. Again, I know eBay is a little bit more work, but once I set up one eBay listing, if I have 15 of that set, then I can just keep adding to it or input my 15 sets right off the top. And then, yes, I do have to ship them out on my own, but the fees are a fair amount less on eBay. And so I think I'll get pretty used to that and be okay with that. And again, I don't do super high volume, so it's no sweat off my back to lose the Amazon Lego selling ability. So just an interesting anecdotal story there related to selling on Amazon. But fifth on our table is this Gandalf the Grey and Balrog BrickHeadz. 11 mentions, E-score of 2.8. This has been a popular set all year long. I think this one is out of stock on lego.com right now, and it is a Lego exclusive. Odds are we're not going to get another opportunity to pick this set up. I do have 12, I think, and I love it. Indiana Jones Diorama, $150 Temple of the Golden Idol, 10 mentions, an E-score of 2.2. That might be a touch low because the action features are awesome, but people are concerned since there are only 3 Indiana Jones sets and there isn't a lot of Indiana Jones media out there right now, and the latest movies haven't been so popular. But here on lego.com, it is sold out. However, it is still in stock on Barnes & Noble. I'm not buying any at the full $150 price. Now, if you're a member and you add stamps, I think you can get the equivalent of 15% off. I'm going to wait and see if this one goes on sale or if there is a triple stamps day coming up. I think they'll do decent, but I just haven't found the right price or the right time. And then very interestingly enough, number 7 on our table is this Avatar Tree of Souls set. 10 mentions, but a low 1.2 enthusiasm score. The tree is beautiful. The minifigures are pretty rough in my opinion. The creature is okay, but this set is all about the tree, but it's $150. And so people are talking about it because it is so unique and there is probably going to be demand for it long into the future. But at the $150 price point, when the tree is the main draw, there is hesitancy with the lower E-score. And most people are saying, hey, a lot of the other Avatar sets have gone 50 to 80% off at Walmart, and maybe this one will see a 50 to 60% discount. And at that price, maybe it would be worth picking up a few. few. I haven't really decided yet. I'm just watching it to see if we do get a crazy good discount. But please note, it is sold out on lego.com at 20% off. But again, it is still available at Barnes & Noble. And now on to another Lord of the Rings BrickHeadz set. 9 mentions, E-score of 3.0. Legolas and Gimli, awesome set. Came out in June of 24, so just a 6-month shelf life. All signs and all metrics say this one will perform well on the secondary market. And now on to the Walmart exclusive Office. 9 mentions, E-score of 2.6. This is an interesting set because it went out of stock on lego.com and Walmart a little more than a month ago, and then it came back. People started buying up a few of them, myself included, thinking it might go out of stock again, and now it seems like it is really in stock. It went on back order on lego.com and said they weren't going to ship until January, and now they're all starting to ship here in November. But I still think there is great opportunity with this set because it was on the 2025 retirement list and it got pulled to the end of this year a few months ago, so it's not like there's a ton of buzz or it's on too many people's radar, and the TV show is hugely popular. 76224, the most recent minifigure scale Batmobile, $48, super expensive, 1.5-year shelf life. 9 mentions, E-score of 2. I'm not picking any up of the individual packs because even at the good sale price, it does not beat this Walmart 3-in-1 gift set. This box is $50 with the Batwing, the Batmobile, and the Batman polybag, which means that both vehicles are for about $23, and that is just over 50% off the $48 price point for this set. Diagon Alley, Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, 9 mentions, but a low 1.9 enthusiasm score. A few of the videos I've watched, the presenter is very excited about this set because it is a Target exclusive, and a lot of Harry Potter sets are now starting to fly under the radar that some of them are actually doing okay again on the secondary market. We went through a couple-year period where they really didn't do well because the investors were still picking up a lot of them while the demand was starting to trickle down. Now that has hit a better equilibrium. I'm still not excited about most Harry Potter sets, but it seems like the opportunity for them to grow on the secondary market has increased recently as the supply on the secondary market has decreased. This one just has a 1.5-year shelf life, and it is part of a series. This Ollivanders and Madame Malkin's robes came out earlier this year, and another one in this series was announced, and I think they will all connect together. So there could be some interest and opportunity here, but I still think it would have to be on a really good discount, like at least 40% off. Aragorn and Arwen, the third of the 4 Lord of the Rings BrickHeadz retiring at the end of this year. 8 mentions, E-score of 3. I love this one. It went out of stock early in my Lego store, and I think it's been one of the harder ones to pick up. And then let's look at BrickHeadz overall real quick. Frodo and Gollum still in stock. Legolas and Gimli still in stock. But if we scroll down and go to the second page, we can see that Tusken Raider is out of stock. That's actually the next set on our list. And Gandalf the Grey and Balrog is out of stock, and Aragorn and Arwen is out of stock. And as stated, here's the Tusken Raider BrickHeadz, 8 mentions, 2.6. I think I have like 25 of these, and I am really excited about this set. The first of the 3 Star Wars mechs, Boba Fett. These are interesting. $16 seems overpriced. This one has 8 mentions, E-score of 2.6. It's my favorite of the 3. Almost 6,000 members own it. Not bad considering it came out in August of 23, so just a 1.5-year shelf life. But that $16 price point seems really high. I think a lot of us were thinking that this would hit $10 or maybe even, $8.99 or $9.99 before retirement. And so far, it hasn't budged much. Maybe $12.99 a couple of times, but at Target, they've been pretty regularly around, $14 or $15. I've picked up a few when there was good GWP and double insider points, but I'm really hoping this hits around $10. Otherwise, I'm going to miss out on getting many more of the mechs. And then the last of the Lord of the Rings BrickHeadz, Frodo and Gollum, probably the least popular, but it's only $15, so I think it will still pull okay. Ahsoka's Clone Trooper Battle Pack. I've talked a ton about this set. Got to get it on sale. I got a bunch of them at Kohl's a month ago for just over 50% off. 8 mentions, E-score at 2.5. Most Clone Trooper Battle Packs do well, even though I'm not super excited about Battle Packs in general. And then here's our first set on the list that is not expected to retire at the end of this year. Boarding of the Tantive 4, 75387. Awesome set, $55. Actually isn't too bad for the 500 pieces and the 7 minifigures and one of the 20-year or 25-year minifigures. I forget, correct me if I'm wrong. And I've already seen this set on sale about 20% here and there. So this will be a good one in the future, but I don't think it's scheduled to retire until 2026 at this point. Wolverine's Adamantium Claws, kind of a cool set. 8 mentions, 2.1 enthusiasm score. It's low because it's a little plain and because of the very high $70 price point. I did pick up 2 at a really good discount at Target a month or so ago. I think there's some opportunity because it is so plain. Initially, I didn't like that and I was speaking against it because I wanted a little bit of yellow trim and I really wish that was still there. But in the long run, I think there is something very clean that is going to be a high appeal for this set. If we compare it to Thor's hammer, this one also is very clean. $100 set that retired at the end of last year and already up to about 150. So this one's doing awesome. Whereas Captain America's shield that we will probably talk about later in this video is not so clean and you can't pick it up. And this one is not very popular for investing. With 8 mentions and an E-score of 1.9 is the Fender Stratocaster. I love this set. I wish it didn't have quite a long shelf life, but when the price is right, I'm going to pick at least a few of them up. My son wants one for Christmas, so I have to get at least one. It's been on 20% off pretty regularly. I'm waiting for 35 to 40% off. I think it could happen at some point with stacking deals and promos. The gray minifigure scale Millennium Falcon that's been out since 2019 from sequel episode 9, so the minifigures aren't super popular, but it does have a 4.4 on BrickHeadz. I've heard this is one of the best designed Millennium Falcons to date. Only 8 mentions with an E-score of 1.4. I did pick up 3 of them at about 50% off, but I wouldn't go any higher than that on the buy-in price. Sanctum Sanctorum, 7 mentions, E-score of 2.4. I love this set and I missed it because it is out of stock. We were all hoping it would go on a decent discount and I don't think it ever did. So folks who went in on it with a good insider points weekend or a good GWP, I think are going to make out pretty well. The Creator 3-in-1 Medieval Castle, another awesome set I love. 7 mentions, E-score of 2.3. $100 for 1426 pieces. I just picked up 3 at Target for I think $68 if I remember. 40676 with 7 mentions and E-score of 2.3 is the Phantom Menace 6-pack BrickHeadz. This is an interesting set because it will have a 6-month shelf life and it's BrickHeadz and it's Star Wars, so it seems like it should do fantastic on the secondary market. The builds are quite good. I like all the color. Obviously Princess Amidala is amazing, but last year's multi-pack BrickHeadz that had less than a year's shelf life is not doing great. $40 and BrickHeadz says $43. However, this one did go 20% off, I think in December at lego.com, and there was a couple of months of zombie stock. So maybe this one will do the same. I think I would pick some up at 20% off. I do wonder if this one will have a lot less supply in the secondary market because last year's is a low performer so far. So maybe people that picked this one up are saying, I'm not making that mistake again. And then the new Phantom Menace set will be undersupplied. I'm so far in that camp. I've only got a few of these. I'm waiting to see if it goes on the 40% off. The Jurassic Park Visitor Center, 7 mentions, E-score of 1.3. It's a pass unless it is 50% off. The Target exclusive Exotic Pink Parrot is a Creator 3-in-1. It is a recolor of the blue parrot. It's an awesome set. This one will have a 1.5-year shelf life. I don't recall ever seeing it on sale up until just this last week when Target finally put it on 20% off, so I picked a number of these up. 6 mentions, a solid E-score of 2.7. The second mech, this time the Stormtrooper, 6 mentions, E-score of 2.5. Same story as Boba Fett. I'm waiting for a good discount. The Speed Champions Mercedes 2-pack. I think this is pretty good actually. I was kind of cool on it earlier in the year, but at $35, it's really good value when new single cars are $27. Yes, the F1 car has less pieces, but they look pretty decent and it seems like there's not too much buzz around it, and we've been able to get it for 30% off, and I actually picked up about 5 of them, maybe more, from Kohl's a month ago at 51% off. The Ideas A-frame cabin, another beautiful set in the Ideas lineup, $180. Seems like a lot, but it's 2082 pieces with 4 unique minifigures. 6 mentions, an E-score of 2.3. This one is honestly a mystery. It seems like it should be a great investment. Hugely popular. 7,300 members already own it. It's only been out for under 2 years. It might get extended like the Treehouse did a bunch of times. It hasn't been on sale yet, which is a good sign for its demand, but there isn't a ton of buzz and popularity around it for investing, so I just don't know, but I do love it. Ninjago City Gardens, also 6 mentions, E-score of 2.3. This is an easy one, a 4.6 on BrickHeadz. Hugely popular set. I don't mind the $350 price point on this one because of the 5685 pieces with 22 minifigures. I know Ninjago minifigures aren't super desirable like the Star Wars minifigures are, but still, ton of minifigures, all the foliage, all the color, beautiful set. If we look at the previous sets in this lineup, the original Ninjago City, 300 to 752 on BrickHeadz. City Docks, 230 to 563. And then we've got City Markets that is retired probably at the end of next year. So I think there's a lot of opportunity and I will be picking some up. Here's the Batwing at 6 mentions with an E-score of 1.7. We basically already talked about this set. I would only pick it up in the 3-pack gift set. And let me clear this menu out of the way. We've got the Typewriter next, 6 mentions, E-score of 1.5. For me, this is flying way under the radar. I know it has a long shelf life, but it is a 4.5 on BrickHeadz, and the build and mechanism, and of course all the sand green pieces pieces, and all the prints are amazing. This is high in my most recent power rankings video. I do have a couple, but I'm really hoping that we get some decent last second discounts, but we will see. Chewbacca, 6 mentions, a low E-score of 1.2. It's a pretty rough set. I don't hate it as much as most people do because I like the concept. I like the smaller R2-D2 that fits well with this set and the C-3PO with a lot of gold, but I'm only picking this up if it is $100 or less, ideally less because it's a $200 set. It retails for $200, which seems very expensive for what we're getting. A set that is not retiring yet with 5 mentions and E-score of 2.6 is this Optimus Prime Transformer. Awesome set. I will be watching it closely when it is scheduled to retire. The Lord of the Rings Borodur Tower came out not too long ago. Another amazing set, 5 mentions, E-score of 2.6 for both these sets that are not retiring yet. 2 sets again I'll be watching closely. I am worried about the $460 price point, but at 5471 pieces with 10 unique minifigures might be all right. 4.7 on BrickHeadz tells us a lot. NASA Shuttle Discovery with a Hubble telescope. It's an awesome set. $200 is actually a really good deal in my opinion. 4.6 on BrickHeadz. 5 mentions, E-score of 2.4, rarely on sale. I think this one will be a winner because if we type in Saturn V into BrickHeadz, we can see that this set did so well and was so popular that Lego re-released it, and even with the re-release, they are both $120 up to about $170. And remember, people were getting this set for at least 20% off, if not more, so that is a great return on investment. The NES at $270. Some people love this set and swear by it. I am avoiding it, not my thing. I do love Nintendo. I love the console, but I don't like the little TV build. The scaling doesn't work for me. I'd rather have just a plain console, and I'd rather they would do that and then a GameCube and an N64 and some of the others. So I am definitely passing this set at the $270 price point. Daily Bugle not retiring yet. 5 mentions, E-score of 2.2. I think it is worth the close watch when it does get close to a retirement date. Yavin 4 Rebel Base, 5 mentions, E-score of 2. $170 is way too much, even though it has 12 minifigures and 7 of them are unique. I wouldn't pick up any more of these unless I found them for $90 or better. I picked up 2 at $103 because I did want one for personal collection, even though I don't really like the build. Some of the videos I watched, there was significant highlight of the 7 exclusive minifigures, but when we look at which ones are exclusive, they aren't that special. An astromech, a Y-Wing pilot, Princess Leia, Luke, Han, a crew member, and another pilot. So a lot of these we've already had, yes, in other prints, but we've already had them. Clone Trooper Battle Droid Battle Pack, super cool set. It's already been 20% off a lot. Just came out in the beginning of this year, so too early to watch it closely, but it is a Clone Trooper Battle Pack, so I'm sure it will get a lot of hype next year as it approaches retirement. Architecture Taj Mahal, 5 mentions, E-score of 1.8. I don't know much about architecture. I rarely invest in them. However, I did pick up 3 of this set because it was on Target or Amazon, I forget, for just under 50% off. Battle of Hogwarts, also 5 mentions, E-score of 1.8. I'm skipping this one. Some people have mentioned that the shorter shelf life and all 6 unique minifigures might give it a chance, but it looks a little thin and empty to me. Eldorado Fortress, a awesome new pirate set, but only 5 mentions with an E-score of 1.6. Many people are bailing on this set. I'm still in on it, not at full price, even though $215 for 2,500 pieces is really good. I have a couple, and I might not get any more if it doesn't go on a decent discount, but I still think it's flying under the radar and has pretty good opportunity. The Globe, another interesting idea set. $230 seems expensive, but it has not gone on sale yet that I've seen. Only 5 mentions, also with a low E-score of 1.6. This one continues to grow on me. It's been growing on me month by month for the last 4 or 5 months, mostly because the world map did really well when it retired last year and because this one is rarely on sale, and it seems like that it is flying under the radar, and it's one of those semi-boring sets that takes off on the secondary market. Hogwarts Chamber of Secrets, this one I do think is of interest, partly because I picked up a couple at just under 50% off not too long ago from Target, but there's a lot going on here and it's iconic. But another one with a low 1.6 enthusiasm score. Disney Celebration Train, also 5 mentions with a 1.6, and I have cooled heavily on this set. I feel like it's going to have a lot of supply on the secondary market, and the discounts haven't been great lately, and it's only a 3.8 on BrickHeadz. Batcave Shadow Box, 5 mentions, E-score of 1. I'm surprised that the E-score is so low. I would have thought it'd been a little higher because this one went out of stock a little while ago, and I don't think it's coming back. I think we've all missed our opportunity to pick it up, and on eBay, it's selling decent, $650 recently. Now there's a couple that are below MSRP. Then we've got some that are a fair amount above MSRP. MSRP. So it looks like this could be similar to last year's Coliseum, where it disappeared without anybody really picking any up, and the supply is so low that any demand means it will grow in value. The Walt Disney tribute camera is not retiring yet, and basically no love for this set. Starry Night, Vincent van Gogh. This is an awesome set. 4 mentions, E-score of 2.8. It will have a pretty long shelf life, but I can see why. What an amazing design set. Ideas too, which is awesome. I will be picking some of these up when we're in the same year that it is retiring because it is that good in my opinion. Dried Flower Centerpiece. We all know that the botanical sets are hugely popular. Tons of sales velocity. For example, 8,000 for this set in the last month. This one is normally around 1,000 or 2, but because it is a fall themed set, it is doing awesome. The bonsai tree that's been out forever seems like is 8,000 a month. The wildflower bouquet is 6,000 a month. Some of these newer sets are 10,000 a month. Awesome sales velocity. I know this is probably the least popular of all of them, but Bird of Paradise was not very popular last year and it's doing awesome so far. Sonic the Hedgehog, another licensed BrickHeadz that I love. 4 mentions, E-score of 2.3. Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter multi-pack. Similar story as the Phantom Menace multi-pack. I'm not loving this one. I don't love the builds other than Sirius Black, and so maybe if it goes 40% off. E-Wing versus Shin Hati Starfighter from season 1 of the Ahsoka series. All 5 minifigures are exclusive. The builds are okay. I ebb and flow on this set. I think I need to be about 40% off before I would pick any more up. And it had 4 mentions and an E-score of 2.3, like the 2 BrickHeadz we looked at and the next couple of sets. Fighter Plane Chase, I do like this one a lot. $35 is already a great deal, and we have been able to find it for 20% off. Frequently enough that we can source a decent number of them at a pretty good sale price. Rivendell, Lord of the Rings, just take a look at this beautiful set. We don't need to say anything else. I'm sure it'll have a pretty long shelf life. Obviously a lot of money at 500 bucks, but I think it's worth every penny of it, at least for my personal collection. I don't have it yet, but I will get it. A 4.8, one of the highest ratings you'll see on Brickset ever. So yes, there's a chance this is a rare, very expensive set that I do invest in, but it will depend on how long it's on the shelves for. The Target exclusive Star-Lord's helmet, 4 mentions, an E-score of 2. Very little excitement around this set. Just over a year and a half shelf life, but I still am going to be skipping it unless it is at least 50% off. The Nano Gauntlet, Amazon exclusive, also 4 mentions, E-score of 2. Not retiring at the end of this year. I don't know what to make of these Gauntlet sets. We haven't had anything similar enough retire yet, so I'm just a maybe, and I'm not paying that much attention to them. Boba Fett Starship Microfighter, 4 mentions, E-score of 1.8. Microfighters historically do well, but there's going to be so much supply on the secondary market. I already have a bunch. I got them at a good price, and I wouldn't get any more unless it was $5 or $5.50. Indoor Speeder Chase Diorama. It's a beautiful diorama. I know the first wave of dioramas haven't done well, which I still don't quite understand because I think people would like to have detailed small builds with minifigures that you can put a bunch of and line them up next to each other on your shelf and not take up a ton of space. They're from the original trilogy. So I don't know, maybe it's just the price point because all of them are crazy high at the retail price, but I'm still going to be getting some of these when they go on at huge discount. Inevitably they will, because there's going to be tons of supply on the primary market. And like last year, I imagine retailers will need to discount these dioramas heavily. The Lotus Speed Champions, not my favorite, so I'm waiting for the $10 to $12 price point. Only 4 mentions with an E-score of 1.8, but I think at the right price, like most Speed Champions, it'll do decent. Luke Skywalker's UCS Land Speeder, only a 1.5 enthusiasm score. Most people hate this set. I don't hate it, mostly because the first of each Star Wars ship in UCS form does well, but I'm sure it's a very, very long hold time, and $240 is way too expensive, but it's been discounted 40% off at Target a couple of times, and I think we'll still get good opportunity to get this one on deep discount. Creator 3-in-1 pirate ship, not retiring at the end of this year, so I don't have in-depth thoughts, but it does go well with Eldorado's Fortress. Tennu Jedi Temple, the annual overpriced Star Wars 4+ set that has good prints and interesting minifigures, but is unlikely to do well unless it is on a massive discount. 4 mentions, E-score of 1.3. Hogwarts Room of Requirement, also low metrics, generally a pass. And then the relatively new Ahsoka's T6 Jedi Shuttle, also 4 mentions with a low 1.3 enthusiasm score. I'm a little surprised by that. $80 is too expensive, but 3 of the 4 minifigures are exclusive. All right, the rest of the sets on this table have 3 or less mentions, so I'm only gonna highlight a few of the retiring sets. I encourage you to read through the sets that I don't specifically call out as I scroll through the table. Oh, and don't forget, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else. The first one with 3 mentions and a top enthusiasm score of 3.0 is the AT-AT at $850. I am 100% passing on this set. I don't want to take the risk, but I also can't see any way that this set would not go up in value. It's hard to find a buyer at that price though. And then the next one that's retiring is the Sonic 2-pack BrickHeadz, 3 mentions, E-score of 2.7. I like all 3 of the Sonic BrickHeadz that are retiring at the end of this year. And then skipping over a few like the Minecraft Sword Outpost. Interesting set to consider because the Minecraft movie is coming out next year and the sword is so iconic. Skipping over the Harry Potter BrickHeadz. And now let's look at the John Deere Technic tractor. Only $35. Occasionally was on sale and I was really hoping to pick some up and I never got any. And it is now out of stock at lego.com. I think this one is going to do well and surprise some folks, and I am feeling the FOMO. Spider Tank's a pass. The Darth Vader mech I generally like, but it's the least favorite of mine. The third Indiana Jones set, Escape from the Lost Tomb, is okay. Let's look at this Icon Chevy Camaro. Only 3 mentions, an E-score of 1.7, $170 for 1456 pieces. Seems really expensive. All the data is pretty clear that this one is not going to do well in the secondary market. There just won't be enough demand, but I still don't understand it. So far, these Icons vehicles, other than the F40 years ago, have not done well, but they are so amazing. So I might pick up like 1 or 2 and just plan on storing it away for 5-8 years, because I think at some point there's going to be some interest in these really, really well-designed, awesome build Icons vehicles. Holiday Main Street is a pass for me. I don't like this one because of all of the different parts. I wish it was one larger building, and they're open in the back, these 2 buildings, and the holiday sets have lost their luster when it comes to investing. I think there are too many people going in on these. Sonic the Hedgehog Green Hill Zone, definitely a pass for me. I know it's ideas and a lot of the ideas sets do well, but I've talked about this one, or more specifically, I've blasted this one a lot in the past, so not one I'm interested in. The Macaw Parrots art set. Now this one is, I think, worth the watch. $60 doesn't seem too bad. These are pretty sizable, and the pastel colors are awesome. The design is awesome. They hang on the wall, they lay flat. A little bit of foliage here is amazing. I'm not like a diehard bird fan or anything, but I actually would enjoy hanging this one on my walls. Problem is only 729 members own it, so the demand is really low, a low 3 mentions and 1.7 enthusiasm score, but it's possible that there is so little supply on the secondary market that any demand could be all right for this one. Skipping over more of the Harry Potter BrickHeadz, the Target exclusive sailboat could be of interest. I'm going to skip over all of the dream sets, even though the one that I think has any chance is the Nightmare Shark ship. We already talked about Captain America's shield, and now we get to the Emperor's Throne Room diorama. This is an amazing diorama, fantastic build, but only 3 mentions and an E-score of 1.3. It is $100, which seems insane. And some more Star Wars and Harry Potter sets I'm skipping over. And now let's get down to the Jungle Explorer ATV, 2 mentions, E-score of 2.5. I've said in the past, but I want to highlight it again, that some of these $10 or $11 city sets end up doing really well because it's pretty easy to get them for 20 or 30% off, and then they go for 25 or 30 on Amazon a year or 2 later. Of course, since I can't sell on Amazon right now, I probably should cool my jets on these $10 sets, but I do like this one for folks that like to invest in smaller quantities or smaller amounts. Let's look at the Ghostbusters Ecto 1, 2 mentions, E-score of 2. I know it's very iconic and very accurate to the source material, but I think it's ugly personally, so I'm not investing in it, but some people are excited about it. I'll remind that it's been out since 2020, so it feels very stale. I've talked about Tales of the Space Age and the Deep Sea Creatures and the Birdhouse in the past. All 3 of those I got on pretty good discount over the last few months. The 1970 Speed Champions Ferrari 512M I think is pretty good, but it did get extended a year, so that one might feel a little stale. And then we've got some other sets that aren't too exciting, some Disney sets, some more Harry Potter sets. Family Reunion Celebration is kind of a cool build, and so I did pick up a couple when they were on sale and good GWP. And now I want to go to the first set with 1 mention, but a top enthusiasm score of 3 is this Ideas Jazz Quartet. This one is so unique and so well done. I think it's flying under the radar and has a decent chance. I think there's a lot of personality in all 4 of the figures, and the builds for the musical instruments is just fantastic. I'm going to be building one of these myself. I love it. Everybody loves music. Here's the third Sonic BrickHeadz retiring. It's my favorite of the 3. And now let's keep scrolling down the table to this Friends Botanical Garden. Only 1 mention with an E-score of 2. This is a pretty amazing set in my opinion. $80 isn't bad for the 1072 pieces, but all Friends sets go on sale eventually. initially. So I picked up 4 at just over 50%. I think it was like 43 bucks. I am super excited about that from Target a few weeks ago. Check out these tiny builds and all of the detail and all the different pieces they used, like this minifigure piece and the pink frogs and some unique builds here. And then one of my favorite is the broom and the saxophones to build. Oh, and the hairpiece to build all of these great looking plants. John Deere skidder, that's the expensive John Deere set retiring at the end of this year. I do have a few, very little buzz. I think there's a good chance for this one. And then let's look at the Ferrari 812 Competizione. I know I pronounced that wrong. I am sorry, but this set continues to grow on me. And same thing with the Pagani Utopia. I think both of those on the standard 20% off are a decent pickup. And then the Monkey Kid City of Lanterns, one mention, E-score of 2, is expected to retire at the end of this year. So 3-year shelf life, not awful for a huge set. 160 bucks for 2187 pieces. 4.4 on BrickHeadz is pretty high for a pretty obscure theme. I think this one has a shot. The problem is that although the supply will be very, very low, the demand will also be pretty low. So it will be hard to find a buyer. I think if somebody loaded up on 20 of these, it'd take a while to clear them. But, you know, 3 or 4, I think it should be pretty easy to find somebody locally or on eBay. And then we're going to scroll past some sets that are not retiring yet, and we will get down to the sets that have one mention and an E-score of 1. And the only one that I want to highlight is this Australian postcard. It's kind of cool. I know the Paris postcard is doing decent, probably because of the Olympics, but I am not going for these. I have heard some videos talk about going for all of these postcards, but I am skipping them. And I will point out that my son picked one up the other day and built it. And I always thought that they had one of those nail, hang on the wall nail pieces on the back, and they do not. So these do not easily hang on the wall. And I think that's a little bit of a miss. And so now I'll just scroll through the rest of these. And it's just a bunch of random sets, some city sets, Marvel and Jurassic Park, and then a list of sets that are not retiring at the end of this year. And so that means that's everything I wanted to cover in this video. I don't know if it'll be my next video or not, but very soon I will do a not top sets video. As always, thanks a lot for watching. That's a wrap, and I will see you in the next one.